Okay, let's go live. Hey, everybody. Welcome to Judee Rallos TV. And today we have our very first episode of our series, which we call Inspiring Wednesdays Live. This is a show where we interview people that I find very inspiring, thought leaders, entrepreneurs, and people who have a great message to share to the world. And for today, I am so happy because I have my former classmate here, Dave Visaya. I knew him in college. Dave, do you remember we were classmates in social anthropology?
I don't know if you still recall, but I'm from Don Bosco, so we got a BGE before. I don't know if you,
Oh, yeah.
but we haven't met each other there. Yeah.
Okay. Um. Oh, okay. Charlene, can you also share this on our Facebook page, please? Is this shared to our Facebook page? So anyway, so Dave, I'm super happy that you're here, and thank you so much for saying yes to my invitation without hesitation. Because
Okay.
I actually, if you just know, I have a paper here, and when I really thought about the guests that I wanted on my show, you were actually the first one because
Wow.
I find that you doing your podcasting and the things that you do on the online space very inspiring. And you remember that we had like I think 5 years ago we had a meeting, I think in my house, and you were telling me about podcasting, and I'm like, I've always wanted to do a podcast, which I never got
Mm.
to do until this year, which is not even a podcast because it's just like an extension of my channel. So, anyway, for everybody's benefit, go ahead, Dave. Tell us about what you do, and please introduce yourself to the audience.
Yes. So thank you for having me as your first guest. It's an honor, and I still recall that day. We a couple of years ago about this, and I haven't actually started my sort of business. I looked up to Judee here, our host. She's been amazing. Started her own way and made like amazing. I would say that you've started a lot of things, and you inspired a lot of people, and that includes me. So I was looking up to you, and I was like, oh wow, and yeah. Fast forward today, I have actually started already like my own kind of mini outsourcing company now. It's focused on this niche, which is podcasting. That's why I'm really raving about podcasting because in a way, that's also how I earn. So
Which is
I know.
amazing, guys, because Dave is like the top guy in Upwork, and he was recognized for podcasting. Go on. I'm so sorry.
Oh yeah, and actually it was I started with this like 2016 2017 where catered to a lot more people with podcasting needs, specifically in the U.S. And I was like, why not start my own podcast too? And we're one of those the big picture Philippines, our own podcast here where we interview local entrepreneurs, specifically in Cebu, because we do live setup and we go to their place and or in their office and we interview them and we have a mobile setup. So that we started that as well because we want to promote that podcasting is really here, and in the US it's big. It's like really big. I
Yeah.
think Philippines is catching up.
I really would love, I love that like news because I for one felt like a total nerd when I
Mm.
started listening to podcasts like in the 2000s. I remember I had an ex before who would tell me like, "Why are you listening to those boring business stuff?" But then I was so obsessed because here's like a niche of people who is so passionate about things, and it's and the wealth of information is amazing, like truly amazing. That for me was so transformational in how I was able to, of course, grow as an entrepreneur.
Hmm.
And that's
Yeah, I mean,
amazing that you do it.
yeah. So I help those people, those people that you listen to online. A couple of them I actually handle.
You handle like one of the podcasts that I listen to.
Which one?
Alice, the the one about the savings and the about money.
Oh,
What was that again?
there's this bigger pockets that they're pretty big in the U.S. And yeah, a couple of them. That's mainly how it catapulted for me because I was able to get this client who's like top 15 of all investing niche, right, and podcasts in the whole world, in the whole iTunes. So they're called Bigger Pockets. They're real estate. They're now growing to a lot of shows, and I handle all of their shows as a producer and editor. So yeah, it's amazing because I'm also a product of podcasts. I've when even before I was started a business sort of related to podcasting, I was also listening to a lot of shows, like the show by Brendan Burchard. I don't know if you know him, the Charge Life. Actually, I was listening to that when I was at my lowest point of my life, where
Oh
I
my
was,
God.
oh, I need to get, I
And
need
then
to get out of this house,
they're now your
right?
business partners. That's so amazing.
Yeah. So that is like taking in information on the go, which is what podcasting really is. And listening like while you're driving, commuting, or right now we're not actually doing anything, but yeah, maybe an alternative for Netflix or
Oh
other
my God.
music.
That's
Spotify.
so
Spotify actually has podcasts now, so it's amazing. They're promoting that a lot.
that is actually really amazing because um like there's so much junk on the internet, but then when you actually get into podcasts, it's actually so addictive to start learning things. Like there was even a
Mm.
time in my life, or until now, I listen to podcasts in the shower, while I'm like cleaning, while I'm like fixing my stuff, or like literally anything.
Yeah, it's amazing because you have this, and it's unfortunate in a way too because I was looking forward to even today, right? I have this client. Mostly my clients are from the real estate niche, right? And I
Mhm.
was like looking for. I'm really planning to get into this business, and like you're selling houses and all that, but I want to get into the real estate investor. Yeah, become an investor basically with focus
Mhm.
on real estate, but I couldn't find someone in the
In the
Philippines, because I
Philippines,
wanted I
yeah,
wanted that setting because it's different in the US. They have this what we call flipping. They have this, the refinance and all that, and not a lot of people are talking about that here and
we don't have
translating
that
that.
here. I've been looking for that, so go ahead and do that because I've been like, and there was a time that I was like, I'm going to invest on foreclosures, and I was really looking for somebody who is doing that in the Philippines
And
to
teaching,
validate
no?
that my idea is not so crazy, I guess.
Yeah, there's none. Maybe we can start one or something like a newbie kind of a podcast about real estate, or even a YouTube channel. That's what I'm thinking soon, if I'm ever gonna start a podcast. So I mean a YouTube channel like yours. So yeah, I think it's Filipinos has it's like this what they call a blue ocean here, where it's something that people can get into, and it's not yet red ocean, or what they call, it's not yet messy there, and you can get into it. And even YouTube, right? Not a lot of people are,
Not a
aside
lot.
from entertainment. And in fact, we all know a famous podcaster by the name of Mo Twister. He is like a podcast. He has a that's a podcast, but he just posts on YouTube and all that. He does interviews, and but people know him because it's entertaining, and I think that's mostly how people or listeners in, or even movie or TV watchers in the Philippines go for
Yeah,
entertainment. Making
not
us.
a lot of education, and we have to thank Dave for being one of the forerunners, especially in Cebu, because before I was always like wanting to have a podcast, and I would always like look for Cebu stuff, and I would see, oh, Dave, I'm so happy because like there's Dave, and then there's like 032 Cebu, like
Yeah, Arlo.
like years before. And so, Dave, I wanted to just really ask because we were classmates in nursing school. So how did, like I was so I mean, obviously, in my case, I was a dropout. I didn't finish. But how is it for your case? Like, because I always because I can still vividly remember you in your white outfit and our uniform, and we were like in the hospital caring for people, and then now you're the founder of Podcast Engineer. So how did this story come about? Like, why did you transition to this? How? And maybe this can inspire other people who are stuck in like one thing right now.
Yeah, so I wasn't a dropout, but I was almost one. But basically, because I stopped for a year, I stopped for a year due to an accident, and I was like pretty miserable about that. But even worse, when we graduated around 2010, every country was closing, right? And you know me, I'm coming from not really know me, but if you don't know me, I'm coming from this family where we're not well off. I'm not coming from a business group kind of family. So that was actually my last chance. Like that was my ticket to probably a good life, right? Go abroad, but we don't have. They just got me to college, and that's it. And I'm on my own. So when I got when the reality hits that there was no opportunities for me at that time. Basically, I can't go out at that time. People were taking doctor, becoming a doctor instead of.
Because I remember that I didn't graduate, and I did not know the trends that happened. So that was why there was such a huge surge in like our batchmates becoming doctors because they're not able to go to the States.
US basically closed their doors at that time. Well, right now they're not anymore. I guess not anymore. Well, Europe and also all other places. It was really hard because there was basic supply and demand. There was a surplus of nurses coming out from the Philippines, and because it was like we had like how many sections were there? Like Z in the school, right?
In our school, which is very like strict.
On other schools, like
we were like, I think, what section are you? Section F?
Yes, F. When first year,
because you remember, I was actually section D, and then I was kicked out from my class because I was a bad kid, and then I had to be in section F because my teacher didn't like me there. But then it's ridiculous that we had section F before, and even some schools in nursing before had like section Z.
And that was the hardest school to get into, right?
Yeah, super hard.
One of the hardest.
My parents were like saying their Hail Marys and like Our Father and whatever. They were so proud of me that I got into that school, only for me to like quit school. But it was a huge deal. So that's what happened.
That's what happened, right? So, and I to the point that I'm not supposed to share this, but I got even scammed. From people there's this agency that they're promoting this, go outside the country, like live in Canada and all that. And a couple of my friends were scammed, and like that was crazy. Everyone was like want to go out of the country. So I was pretty much stuck here, and another thing was booming at that time in Cebu specifically, and that was the call centers. So I worked there for a couple of like 6 months max all the time. I can't stay awake.
Like, I don't know, half, I guess.
I can't stay awake at night. But I discovered actually something online where there's this people. I just Googled how to make money online because I asked for a computer back then from my parents. I think that's one of the last few things that I've asked since graduating college. And And I discovered, like, want to make the most out of this, want to make the most out of the internet because we upgraded the DSL at that time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, there was this onlinejobs.ph. I don't know if you've started from there, but I discovered
I
this
didn't
online
know
job.
because I don't know how to create like a profile. I'm so like dumb. Okay, but go on.
But yeah, so I started with this black hat SEO writing where I just recycle. I don't even write, but I have this like gig where I write down stuff like high fails. I write down stuff about, topics about weight loss, and I was this at the other end of the computer where it's
Oh
very
my
fat and all
God,
that.
Dave. So we're the
That was
same.
very.
We're the
Oh
same.
yeah, we're the same.
I
2010, 2011. Yeah.
Yeah, like around 2009, 2010, I was writing articles about like you have to write like 10 keywords that contain
Exactly.
Mexican recipes.
Yeah, and that was when Google was, was like, there's no good algorithm to
Yeah,
rank people, and people were making money. So I
yeah.
was there. I
We
got
just
my
had
first
to
hundred
repeat all these
dollars.
keywords and we would spin articles.
Yes,
We're
that's
the
it. Spinning
same.
articles. So it started the same. I'm glad that we started from there because
Yeah.
that first,
No,
yeah, that first gig, that first $100, like led me to this. Like, I don't know, 10 years
I'm so proud of
now.
you
It's
that
like,
you had $100.
right.
I actually got scammed. I wrote like
Mm.
50 articles for somebody, and then they just gave me like an Amazon gift card.
Oh wow, that's crazy.
Like,
But
and then
I got a couple of that too.
$10. I almost killed myself. Because I'm like, what can I do with $10 on Amazon? We don't even have Amazon here.
Yeah, but the thing is, because we started from there, I think, yeah, we got this commonality, right? But because the decision of like just being open minded, I guess, or just
Yes.
being open to
Like
opportunities
trying
and being
anything
desperate.
at least once. Like it sounds scammy, but I don't have money, so I'll try it to see if it works. If it
Yeah,
doesn't, it's okay.
an empty pocket can teach you a lot of things, and I was there. I joined all the networking I could get a hand on. I work like call center and work all online while volunteering because I was not losing my hope with nursing. But there came a day that I really decided, no, I can't do this anymore. I just made a decision, and that was actually the turning point, right? There was this point in my life where I decided to let go of this 4 or 5 years of education, of
That must
hopes
have
of my
hurt. Oh, I
parents,
felt that. I felt that, Dave.
right?
Felt that.
The hope of our parents, the years, the
Many
duty.
years of like, you're the hope of the family.
And I was there.
From poverty.
I can still remember because I'm from Mingranilla. For those of you who don't know, in Cebu, it's pretty far from the city, and I was volunteering in Banilad. That's Gulyas.
Oh, in
The-
Guya.
So I had to ride like an hour and a
1
half to
million.
go there, commuting every morning. And there was this one, and at home I work also online because I had the online gig, right? Writing, spinning articles. So there was this one morning, it was rainy. I was in Basak. I can still remember across USJR.
Oh my
I
gosh.
went down and I texted my friend, you know him, Michael Kui.
Oh
I
yeah.
texted, I'm not gonna show up anymore because
What a
I'm giving
pivotal
up.
moment.
Yeah, and
What a
it
pivotal
was really
moment.
scary. I don't know where I'll be going. I don't even know if online is something gonna go big, right? And even people
True.
who are close with me, they didn't even see it, right? And they were like, "You're throwing your
They
life
thought
away."
that we were crazy.
Yeah, but
My parents
you
also
know,
thought that I was crazy or like, oh, that's never gonna pan out. You better go back to your call center job, maybe, because like in my case,
mm,
I really had no job prospects because I didn't graduate. So maybe I just stick with my day job, which was like a call center. But then, you
yeah,
know, and like my mom would also like keep on telling me, Day, it's not too late. Balik og eskwela. Like
Yeah, you can be a doctor or something, or
Like everybody was telling me, balik lang skwela, ayaw ka ng imura ng garbo.
yeah, it was that was a point in my life that I was, yeah, but I looking back, that was the best decision, I think. That,
Best,
that
like mine also was.
scary, but
We
best.
were, I think I was in the hospital duty in
Hmm.
maternity, and for
You're
some
still a
reason,
student, right?
I was a
Okay,
student,
fine,
and
yeah.
then like that, my moment was like this head nurse was screaming at me, and she was telling me that I will never amount to be a good nurse because arte kuno kay ko ug
Mm.
hilas kay ko sa tanang hilas. Unya di jud ka makagawas sa Amerika.
Ala, no?
And then you know what? It's like my entire life flashed like right on my eyes. Like I don't know, like, and then I said, if this is going to be my situation in the States and with my personality and another like 20 years of becoming like this, knowing
Mm.
that it's not something that I loved. I mean, kudos to like everybody who loves it, but it's not me. And I said, you know what? I just like walked out and I never went back, and I was already fully paid that year. And I was
So
like,
that was the story.
that was my
Thanks to that.
story.
Thanks to that woman.
But anyway, we have a question here. We have a
Go
question.
ahead.
And somebody asked how to start becoming a podcaster.
That's a good question. So, all right. So podcasting, now going back to podcasting, right? So it's basically really just for you to build the content in an audio form. That's the basic. A lot of right now, of course, they're doing videos now to complement the, just to be repurposing the content out there. But if you have a way to record yourself, if you want to do solo shows, you can do that. And or you can have a host or a co-host, just like what I did, and interview people. So that's basically it. A way for you to record that conversation, that monologue, whatever you call it, as long as it's recorded and you have like a format in a way, but there's no rules really for podcasting. You can go as long as you want. Well, not like 3 hours, but you can, or as short as you can, right? As short as you can. There's this guy called Russell Brunson. He's like the lead funnel guy, a click funnel guy. He has like 5 minutes on his car using his phone. He can do that, quality because he's famous. And Gary Vee also do that. But if it could be 30 minutes, it could be an hour, as long as you have that kind of format and a theme. Although you can be as creative, but I would suggest that you have a theme, right? Like there should be a like something that comes out of your show so that people can subscribe, because if you're everywhere, of course you're not hitting anyone, right? So that's how you basically start a podcast. But if you want to go to the details though, I will need one more than an hour to explain that, but
Yes,
there are apps
more than an hour.
that can help you.
But I think Dave is actually like planning to launch a course about that. So hopefully soon we can also announce about that. Especially that there's
Sure.
so many opportunities that come out from podcasting. Okay. So Dave, I wanted to like know, I remember, I mean, like, I wonder how you started your first podcast. Like, what was it like? Why did you do it?
Okay, so it came from so I had a co-host, so we sat on it, we talk about it, and like I know how to do it. I have the equipment, like I have this. So I'm a frustrated musician. I have this set up already. I can record microphones at a clear audio, and it's just junk there because I'm no longer a musician. But so I was like, okay, let's start it.
Dave is a musician, by the way.
Yeah, so frustrated musician.
You're good.
So
Yeah.
So what happened was he reached out and we got to talk. This is Joseph, by the way, my co-host of the Big Picture. And we sat on it one time and we just decided, okay, let's start it. We want a Joe Rogan style, so we're inspired of another podcast called Joe Rogan. If you don't know him, he's pretty famous in the US, a famous podcaster who has recently signed up for, I think, I don't know, the big million deal with Spotify, just being a podcast and being exclusive with them. Check that out. That's an amazing
Wow.
story. He
Okay.
it's a big win for him. But anyhow, so we just want to have a point and shoot, like, nothing to care about show, and we did it. And that's the good point about that is we started, because if during for that first episodes that we were not really good at, and we did just shoot video right away and post it, and yeah, and that's how you start. You just have to take the leap, and that's how I started. So
And
just jump.
you know what, guys? It's actually not just, like just starting. I can say this because Dave, I have been telling myself that I want to start a podcast like since forever. But I found
Mm,
out that it actually takes guts and also bravery, because sometimes the biggest struggle is actually not like the equipment that you need and the content. It's actually the feeling of like, will I sound stupid? Is anybody going to
mm,
listen to me? Because I noticed like in the years that I did not like start anything,
mm.
I kept making the equipment the reason why I didn't have a podcast.
Well, well, this goes with anything, I guess. If you really want it, you'll find a way, right? And or you'll figure it out. And there's a song by Rico Blanco, kung gusto may paraan, kung ayaw may palaging dahilan, right? So,
Yeah, that's
right.
true.
So the yeah, the whole thing, it's like starting a YouTube channel, right? Even I am experiencing it. I think it's a journey that you have to take on. There's like this self discovery, self, like, how should I say it, like this mindset that you have to be in, that you have to just go say, go do it, right? And just do it. And like YouTube, right? What I'm thinking of starting a YouTube channel, but I was like, oh, I need to buy this camera.
No, that's not true, Dave. I'm just
Exactly, right.
only using my 7-year MacBook, and also
Mm,
like my 7-year-old MacBook, and my like not very um like not high-end cell phone, because I don't know how to use a DSLR, even if I have one.
yeah.
So it's not an excuse, but same to me.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? It's all about just making that leap, making that first step, and this is what I teach. And I just did I taught. I'm so happy. I taught for like American entrepreneurs. I did like a
Wow.
class, and they were all my students. It was an amazing experience. That's what I'm gonna do another run about, and I'm opening it to everyone basically. But yeah, so that's what I teach them is that you just make that first episode and maybe a couple more, because once you realize it's easy, it's doable, then you just have to, you know, step on the the engine and go move forward.
That's so true. Because it's always like that first episode that's the most daunting, right? Like we
First
always
YouTube video,
analyze.
first podcast, first interview,
Like this one,
first
guys.
interview. Like,
Do you know? I have been like mulling since forever about having a show on YouTube and taking on people, and I got the guts to like ask Dave to
mm,
like be on my show, and then you know what? I suddenly realized that I should just really tell Dave, because Dave knows, because he interviews people, maybe he will understand. And I really asked for his advice, like
mm.
how to interview people. Even you're gonna be my first interview, and then how can I interview you? And so
I think you did a great job right now. Like so far, you're doing great.
it was because of his advice. He was just saying there are basic questions you can ask, but then just let it flow. And I said, you know what? Okay, I'll trust God that it will be fine. We
Wow.
have another
Yes.
question here, and it says, "Are there online platforms for podcasting?"
Yeah, so you have to define, or you have. We're gonna define a bit of terms here. So there's this what we call like a website. There's a hosting site, and that's where you store your audio. Basically, you upload it there because you don't want to upload it somewhere else, like a regular website hosting site, which usually goes down and are not built for that. So we have reputable hosting sites like Libsyn, Buzzsprout, Simplecast, and all those. And you can ask me about that or just do a quick research. So these hosting sites are just a way to host your site. If that is your question, then that's not well, it's a hosting platform, but there's also what we call a publishing platform, or where you can publish it, which is where it comes from, like the Spotify, iTunes or Apple, Google Podcast, Stitcher, whatnot. So yeah.
By the way, before we proceed forward, where can everybody find Dave's podcast?
Oh, we're on Spotify, Apple, if you're in there, Stitcher as well. So just search. So here's one big mistake. Well, I still laugh at it. We use this name called The Big Picture, and we didn't even do a research of how common it is. Like there's like 3 or 4 The Big Picture podcasts out there.
Oh, really?
So we add, yeah, it was that's one in the books. You have to move forward, right? So our podcast is The Big Picture, and just type in Philippines, and we're going to be the one who will come out there. And recently, because we do live recording, we haven't really done much this time, but we still have like a couple of episodes. And we're not, if you're going to model a podcast, please don't model us, because we're not like the best at it. We just started a few years ago, but we're not consistent. But if I were to do it, yeah, but if you were to do it again, if you want to really be serious with podcasts, go ahead and like publish on a regular basis, because people turn to subscribe for those who are like you, right? You're releasing content. I don't know if you schedule it or you just on the fly, but yeah, it's important to have this. And if big clients of mine, they show up every Wednesday, every Thursday, or every Friday. So that's something you might want to consider, especially if you're marketing something like your brand, perhaps, or your business. And yeah, and not just for fun.
How often do you personally release an episode on your podcast?
So ideally, it should be weekly, but right now, whenever. So that's the catch with someone producing a podcast. Like, so I'm a podcast producer. I edit or produce shows for others, and now there's this inflow of clients, and I have to push my own show at the end, because I don't edit my shows too. I have my team to edit that, and I was like, whenever they ask, so should we put this ahead now? Yeah, maybe next time let's focus on on where we're earning, right? And hopefully that will change soon, because the thing is, the mindset here in the Philippines is that we don't really have people are not advocating that much, right? The podcast. I don't know. You earn through YouTube, right? So podcasting, mostly sponsorship, if I should say it, or unless you have a business that you can funnel it through. But yeah, not a lot of people are listening here. Hopefully that will change. I think it is changing now by the moment.
I hope that would be something that comes out from quarantine.
It's gonna be revolutionary for the Philippines. It's like a movement, right? Like a nation, I think, would be a lot more educated, because if we're with what we're listening, right? And Jack Ma, one of my idols, Jack Ma, if you don't know him, Alibaba, he says that what you do in your spare time really is, going to dictate what's going to happen to your life. So if we're doing TikToks, Instagram, I mean, nothing wrong against Instagram, but if you're just consuming entertaining stuff, the fun stuff, then maybe that's going to be you're going to expect something different as an outcome, right? So, but if you're consuming podcasts,
provoking, Dave, and it makes me think. Actually, I'm really just happy. I think I'm in the right boat, I guess. Not to be vain, but at my spare time, especially that I live alone and I only really have a cat, So I don't have anybody who to talk to at a lot of times, but um, knowledge and like the wisdom of other people keep me company. And I think it's great. Like listening to other people's lessons in life, there's so much wealth of information. And instead of like, have you noticed that we always gravitate to like the same music and the same like playlists on Spotify? Guys, if you just like, go to the podcasts part of Spotify, you will actually see like a wealth of information. Like if you're always wondering how to actually like earn money, how to save money, how to be rich, how to be happy, how to meditate and stuff, you will be
Mm.
surprised. It's actually just there. It's amazing. Because I think that
Yeah.
not a lot of people are aware um, how Spotify was able to like add that in there. I think last year or 2 years ago.
They were ramping up. They were ramping up recently, and now they got mainstream because of Joe Rogan, like exclusive contract with him. So yeah, I think that this goes also the mindset of Filipinos. That's why we're starting the big picture, right? And this kind of movement, like trying to really, even if we're not that consistent, but we're trying our best. Or for me, or for you, Judee, we're trying for this thought. I should say thought leader like you. Uh, we're trying our best to share that to the world because it's possible, right? Internet has leveled the game. The resources is everywhere now. You can just watch YouTube and you
Equalizer, as
learn.
they would say. Like people who don't really have resources, all of a sudden they have the world in their fingertips, and
Mm.
you can actually become somebody if you just like put your mind to it. If you guys, if you have nothing really going for you, maybe you can start a podcast and then you can tell yourself, I'm a podcaster. I'm doing something to move my life forward.
Yeah,
I have
and that.
yeah.
Go ahead.
Eh,
Well,
go.
I'm just gonna add in, right? So the interesting part was that I learned a lot from the guests that we put in the show. So we never could have imagined interviewing this, like the owner of like Island Souvenir or the owner
Mm.
of Moon Cafe, right? These, I don't know how much they're worth though, but they're like multi-millionaire, I guess. And I believe in proximity, right? Whenever even if you're just around that circle, it somehow, success leaves clues. And it really it really inspired me to think that this guy, he sleeps the same hours in the day, like he puts his sock 1 foot at a time, right? And eat with a fork and spoon. So basically they just have something that they know that we don't know. So having that, being reminded by these guests that we interview, really is amazing, and it's a life changer, I would say.
That's actually really amazing because in my end also, you know what actually inspires me to like shower and do things in a day? I tell myself that I have the same 24 hours as Kim Kardashian, and
Mm.
why can't I do it? Like, why am I just lying in bed all day when she has an app, she has like all these other stuff going for her, and she has 4 children. And so it reminds me that hey, I should do something. Okay,
Yeah.
so I wanted to ask, like, how was it when you were starting your business, podcast engineers? Like, tell us about your experience about that. And were there struggles? Or was it a walk in the park?
Yeah. So podcast engineer. So connecting to the question we had before, the nursing question, finally we can connect it. So after doing that, after doing that writing gig, which I decided to quit my whole nursing career and just focus on that, actually didn't pan out because algorithm changed and Google changed, and my employer left me, and I was nowhere to be found. And I discovered that I can be a VA, right? And a virtual
Mhm.
assistant. So I found another online job, and that online job I got lucky, and I even accepted it at a really low income. This is a good story to share. So I started with this one employer I found on Upwork, and
Mhm.
he pays me like 8,000 pesos converted in a month, and I just took it. Like that's like I've got experience, but you know what? I'm gonna take it. I like the guy, but I work like day in day out. It's really heavy, but that guy was able to teach me like, okay, I'm tired of doing this podcast editing, so let me do it, or I'll let you do it, and you have like background music. Why not? And I found out that I was really good at it because I enjoy looking at audio. I have a background of compression and all that stuff, EQ and all that. So that led to like me being really good at that, and they grew and I grew, their show grew, and so like the pay, I'm still with them until now, and I like that
Wow,
in
that was
that
since
income
when?
that income 8,000 like quadruple or something already, right? So it's how that's how it started, and I got referrals from people in the same niche. That's why I'm in the real estate niche mostly, because of their show. So I got that, and I got too much to handle already for me alone. So I hired an assistant. So that's how you started. Hire an assistant, and you learn
Oh my
how to
God,
build systems.
we it's the same thing. I
The
can
same
relate.
thing, right? And you know what? This is gonna be the same thing with mostly all of the entrepreneurs out there, because once you got to this level that you can't, let's say a milk tea business, and you can't handle it anymore, so you hire people, and you want to serve more, so you put another branch. So that's what happened. So I did a lot of mistakes hiring people, but nonetheless I found
Same.
a good assistant. And now it's I have like 6 employees now, and some couple more outsourced, and it's been doing great so far. And that the good part and the best part is there's no ceiling, right? Where or the income, so you can dream as much as you can, and I still keep on trying to raise the roof, trying to raise the ceiling, and hopefully I'll get there somewhere and climbing the next mountain, investing along the side. Yeah, real estate soon, perhaps. Yeah,
See
so that's
how
it.
amazing. Like I just wanted to inject this because I know that
Mm.
some of my VAs are listening to this show. Hi to my
They sure
VAs.
are.
I see how inspiring it is because it's like this. There's so many newbie VAs right now, or like newbie freelancers who want to get paid like super duper high already without knowing any skills. And we I just want you to know, guys, that when when I also started, do you know that it's not just Dave who suffered with like just 8,000 a month. Imagine
Mm.
me. I also like made
You
patol to
got
the.
scammed.
Aside from being scammed, Dave, like I would work for $1 or 50 cents on an article. That I guess like the desperation
Yeah.
um, somehow led me to learn things that I wouldn't have learned if I wasn't that desperate. But then if like before, when I was looking at that circumstance, I felt like such a low life. But then looking back, it's amazing how life unfolds, because from the things that we learned, like in my case, like see how you got one client who paid you peanuts, and then now you have a podcasting company. In the same way that I also did, was I had these clients who paid me like $1 and things like that. And then
Mm.
eventually I was able to also like build my company from a writing career. And it's amazing. And so I just wanted to remind people that sometimes opportunity is disguised with unfortunate sounding conditions.
Exactly.
And it's amazing looking back. Wow.
Yeah.
See?
That's what build character, right? So those lessons, you hold on to them, and And as I mentioned, like an empty wallet, desperation teaches you the best lessons in life. So don't be afraid of those,
Yeah,
the
because so many
failures.
people sometimes they overanalyze asking like, what's my mission in life? What's in my mission in life? And
Mhm.
sometimes if you don't try things out, also you'll never really know.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I have a good analogy for that. If
Mhm.
there's a lot of ways already how to earn. Everything works, right? You can get rich with anything. Like you can sell a stone, a rock. And I actually learned about that there's someone who did that. But if you don't take action, if you don't drive the car, you can't steer to the right direction. You can't like turn to the right direction because you can't drive or steer a parked car. So you got to get moving. You got to take the action. And that's what I mean. Take action, take the first step, and slowly steer where you wanted to do in life. But if you're just
We
sitting
had the
there,
same thing because if I think that's what also happened. It's so true. Like when our prospects were nothing, we were like, what to do? What to do? Okay, let's try. Let's try this. And it's
mm,
amazing because it's been like 10 years from that time. Cheers to us, Dave. Like, cheers.
yeah, and and you got the wine there. Anyhow, so but nothing against the people who are still figuring out. I mean, we have our own journey, we have our own circumstances. I believe that if you really ask for it and if you're ready for, I'm not even as close as what I imagined to be, right? With with what success really mean for me. But at least for now, I really just want to point it out there that it's possible to at least dream and try to go to the next level of whatever life you wanted, because it's possible. And earlier, or actually last Tuesday morning, I had a call with this. I'm doing now like a Facebook group where I do live with my students about podcasting and how they were interviewed. And I was like telling there that, this mindset that that thinking that we're just from the Philippines, I can't get this kind of income or this kind of client or this kind of like life. And we just see that in in television, or like even watching these guys as movie stars, right? And we watch their lives and we think that we can never have that, but actually we can if you just
You
make the
can.
decision, right? So yeah.
Yeah, like and that's so true because um looking back, I remember like breaking my back literally, spinning all those stupid articles. I'm thinking to myself, like, this is not the life that I wanted to lead. I want to be rich, but then I'm also hungry, so I'll do this. But then looking back, that struggle made me strong. That struggle
Mm,
made me really like surpass. And to this day, um, I really value that. It's actually pretty
yeah,
amazing. Anyway, I wanted to ask another question. How
go
is
ahead.
how is like COVID affecting your business right now? How is quarantine life for you and your and your employees? How is it like right now?
Yeah, so at the start, actually, I was pretty scared because it hit big in New York and basically the whole United States, and most of my clients are coming from there. Yeah, and a couple of them, because I actually basically I lost a couple, right? I lost some clients because I do a retainer kind of business model
Mhm.
where, to put it simply, it's like for Cebuanos PLDT, or Philippines PLDT. They just subscribe to my service, and as long as they like my service and they don't transfer to anyone else, or they continue to release their shows, I'll be with them, and they're gonna pay me a monthly basis, a retainer fee. So some of them, like four or five of them, actually stopped, and it got me worried. And I had currently at the time around 40 clients or 50 clients I was
We
handling.
have 50 clients, imagine, Dave.
Yeah, so some of them are a la carte kind of thing. They're not weekly because I there's this regular plans that I have, but nonetheless, like losing that, I was afraid, I was scared, but also saw the opportunity in it because and it did. Like recently, a lot of people are now starting podcasting. So I need to
That's
level up
true.
my game, because I was just like handling consistently my client, not really marketing a lot. Now I'm like, I want to teach more people about podcasting, and I just attract now the clients that I want to work with, and hopefully make this bigger, and get a lot more premium clients too. That couple of $1,000 in. So yeah, it's pretty good so far. It's not affecting, like, I understand a lot of people right now are really struggling. A lot of businesses, especially the brick and those who are physical stores and all those stuff. But I think also that there's opportunity in this time that we can pivot and figure out a way to survive. And I think that's also a mark of a good business person. I'm not saying I'm the best out there, but really, you started from somewhere that you just find a solution and solve that solution, and you can figure it out. And this is a test of entrepreneurship, as I always say it. It's like,
It's
okay,
so
this
true.
is the right time to test.
It's so true because I was listening um to this channel called Valuetainment, and he
Mm,
said like, um, are you a wartime leader or a peacetime leader? And in
I love that.
situations like this, you need a wartime leader. And I really thought to myself, when quarantine started, when this COVID-19 started, I actually lost some clients, or like some of them, they were like, let's put it on pause. And I was starting to be scared. But then I was like, oh my gosh, Judee, you have been poor for quite a portion of your life. This is your Olympics. This is your time to shine. This is a time to be a wartime leader and to test out what we can do and how to be resourceful at this time. So I think
Yeah.
that it's totally the same thing for me. I also like saw that there was some fear at the start of COVID, right? Like around March. And some
Yeah.
clients were like thinking of canceling. But then it's so amazing because everybody is like, I think in some way accepting that this is like the situation of the world right now. And have you noticed people are starting a lot of stuff like YouTube channels, podcasts. So I think you're also like seeing an increase in clients right now, right?
Yeah, exactly. But there's I I'm actually excited for that, because there is, but people are also leveling up their game. Like other producers, other editors are also doing their game as well, like evolving too. So I think that's the core of entrepreneurship, and I think in life in general, where you just have to continuously grow and adapt. And the more than the stagnant, the moment you stop driving, stop riding the bike or something, that's when the decay comes in, and that's when you start falling, right? So I'm just happy that I'm still moving. I got depressed a bit, right, for 2 weeks or so, but yeah, I was
It
like,
was so scary, Dave. Like the
the
first
start.
client who sent me a message that they're like, I think they have a contract with us for around $10K a month, and they were like, we have to like pause a little. I was shaking. I was like, oh my god, oh my, oh my god. But then
Yeah.
it's actually amazing because my business actually grew at this time, and I'm not saying that I
Oh
want
wow.
to forever, but it's true. Like for everybody out there listening, I hope that you take note of this. This industry where Dave is and where I am at, it's pretty resilient at this time. And if you're looking for something to like grow with or like do something, you can consider, right? By the
Yeah.
way, Dave, if you want to, we're about to like end this show because it's almost 9 and we don't want to take too much of your time, but I could talk to you forever. Um, but kindly invite everybody to like uh, you know where you're at, maybe your business, your group, or the course that you're doing. Tell us more about
Mm.
that. We still have some
Yes.
time.
So yeah, thank you for letting me do this. So uh, I'm enjoying this, by the way. So I
Yeah,
love
thank
this.
you.
This is amazing. So yeah, so the best way to connect with me, the best way to like know about that is to just join the group that I started called Start Your Podcasting Journey. I think that would come out if you search it, or you can just go to my profile and do it. I was actually, I had to be honest with you, like a little background. I was a
Mhm.
bit late with our call time because I was trying to set up my landing page, trying to make it work, but it didn't work. And I was just like, okay, that's fine. I'm learning Kartra right now. I don't know if you know about that, but learning about Kartra and making sure it works. So yeah, start your podcasting journey.
Is this the
That's
group?
where I.
Start your
It's a group,
podcast.
yes.
Okay.
I'll be posting updates there about a webinar soon about how to set up your home podcast studio,
Can
affordable
anybody join the
studio.
group, or is it
Yes,
paid?
anybody can join now. It's for free. We have initially it was catered to mostly foreign foreign clients that I have or foreign people I met in the group. But now I'm opening it to everyone. I think a lot of people are asking, and like I had a mentor too, and like telling me, okay, just open it to everyone. I mean, doesn't matter really. And I was like at that mind. So here's the thing, I was challenged because she challenged me. That this mentor of mine mentioned that you know what, you're thinking Filipinos can afford. They can afford if they really decide to, and we can,
That's
right? We're gonna
actually
level up. We're leveling
true.
up.
That's actually true, Dave. Do you know why? I really thought that, like for example, in my end, I charge. I can't say that my fees are like super low, and it's not the usual like Filipino rate. But
Mm,
then, do you know that recently I actually got some Filipino clients for my outsourcing
that kind
service?
of
It's not
yeah,
a joke. So it's true. Like, and
yeah. It's
and if
yeah,
you
it's
really think
amazing.
about it, oh, by the way, I want you to mention your rates. Is it allowed, or would you?
Yeah,
Or
sure.
yeah, because maybe somebody here, because it's like this. Somebody like me,
Mm,
just to like uh just to let everybody know, my I'm actually paying around, I think, just to have a YouTube channel, imagine. So I think they can compare. Maybe somebody here wants to have like a podcast. And so
mm.
um I personally am paying around, I think wait I think more than 50K every month for just having a YouTube channel with just
Yeah,
my team. And so, Dave, show them like how much is it to have a podcast, because some people here want to have their business known. And oh yeah, we were not able to mention that. We were so chatty, but um you can just imagine, guys, how podcasting can really change the game for your business. I, for
exactly.
one, with just my podcast and my channel, I was able to get an investor, even with little um, uh, audience and like such, I guess. And I have had like $1,000 paying clients from my content. And so, Dave, kindly share like how much is it to enlist your help with podcasting?
Mm. Yeah, so this rate's gonna change really soon because I've been leveling up my services, but
Good.
but I'm gonna share it to everyone. I think a lot of people are interested. So just launching one-time fee, it's around 150 US dollars. That's converted to how much? Like 7,000 pesos, 7 plus, right? For launching it, and I can assist you with your first episode, making sure that we publish on the right areas. And then if you want a retainer where you don't have to worry about learning about Audacity or like I don't know what you use for videos or what your team use for videos, but yeah, so we use different apps to improve the audio, add in the intro, outro, whatever that you want to add it in the show and cut out the mistakes. So we have on a regular basis for an hour show. It's very affordable for most outside clients, but it's just 249 US dollars, or that about, I don't know, 12,000. Right?
That's actually really
I think
affordable
it
because
is. It is really affordable.
And I think that Filipinos can actually afford it. So, guys, if you
Yeah,
want to have a podcast with just an investment of like 12,000, and that's actually already like really affordable. Because imagine I'm paying a lot for to have my
but it's just
YouTube.
audio, okay? So if you
Yeah,
want add-ons, it could reach a little bit higher. If you want like the video in there, the snippets, so it's just the basic plan. But you can start it if you want to be on iTunes. Just the audio, it's pretty clean. It's pretty edit. It's already edited. You don't have to worry. You just record, send it over, and it shows up on iTunes. Yes, so that's the basic plan. But yeah, so that it's pretty straightforward. It's a no-brainer for some of from the foreign clients, but definitely a good deal for those who are really serious and
that's
doesn't
a
have the
really
time,
good
because
deal, I can say.
yeah, for business people, this is, and they
Yes.
want to build a brand, and we haven't really discussed this a bit, right, a
Oh my
lot here
God,
in
that
the
was
show.
supposed to be our topic.
Yeah,
I
we were
wanted,
all
I wanted to answer anyway. How can a podcast help a business grow?
Mm.
Like in a
All right,
nutshell.
so it's like the pod, there was this blog ever since, right, when we first started, and we were coming from there, people reading. Now it kind of evolved, right? People are actually are want to get content on the go, and that's what's the beauty of podcasting. You can grab it on the go while riding a bike or driving, and etc., right? And the thing with that is it's different with the blog or writing, where it's pretty detached. As if it's, you don't feel the person, as if, especially if the writing is very
That's true.
formal and there's no character. But when you hear, or like YouTube videos, when you see and hear that person, it brings it to another level, and that's where the beauty of podcasting really is. And even YouTube, it's basically the same, they're at par, where although not a lot of people are going to drive and watch YouTube videos
That's
though.
true.
but
It's so
but
hard. It's so hard
yeah.
to like listen or like watch a YouTube video. So when you're
While
driving,
driving, yeah,
when
please don't
I'm
do that.
oh my God,
And please don't
when
do
I'm
that. Yes.
cleaning, when I'm like just I don't know, like doing some other stuff here, even when I'm
You
just
can't really.
I listen to podcasts. So for
Yeah,
entrepreneurs
it's
out
easier.
there, it's such a good avenue to actually grow your business, especially if
Mm,
you want strategic partnerships, B2B contracts. I found out that so many, like it's actually a very targeted audience, because I noticed that the people who are really big on podcasts are also entrepreneurs. So it's kind of like a lead generation technique for people who are actually decision makers, who have money, who are smart. I'm so sorry for people who who feel
yeah.
like I'm attacking them, but I've noticed that the people who are interested in these things, I mean in podcasts, are actually high ticket clients. So for people out there who are thinking of boosting their high ticket, like let's say closing high ticket items, services, and like real estate investing and stuff, you should really give it a go. And you can contact
Exactly.
Dave. We will
Yes, please.
include. I believe that we have this in the show notes down below. All of his contact information and links. Okay, so any last words, Dave, before we go?
Yeah. So thank you for having me here. I think to sum up everything here in this show, it's like, for anyone listening, you can actually do it. This is the right time to learn a skill and or start something which you can enjoy, which is podcasting, might be, or YouTube or whatever, right? So take action, and we're gonna go through this together. This whole pandemic, we're gonna survive.
We're
Yes.
gonna survive, and we're not bored because we have podcasts. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and we're gonna be back next week with another interview with a Cebu entrepreneur as well. And I hope you enjoyed this. Thank you so much, Dave, for being here. I'm
For sure.
super privileged that you said yes. This is such a big deal.
Yes.
And thank you for being like my guinea pig. Interview.
You did well.
At least I'm like starting to think for myself, like, what should I do next time? Okay. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Oy, ang popogi daw ng mga Dave, pansin ko lang. Wow.
Wow.
Ang fun, Dave. So, meron din nagsabi, oh, you have a great computer setup, Sir Dave. Okay. Meron ka ng
Thank
mga
you.
fans, Dave, OMG. So, thank you so much, everyone. Bye-bye. Bye-bye, Dave.
Bye-bye.